Giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings unto the 144,000, as well as the rest of the elect. This brother Tazapah here with your daily lunch special. And today we're just going to be serving up some good old gospel, all right, as it pertains to prophecy, which is the testimony of our Lord. So before we even get into anything, we'll go to Revelation 19 and 10, which expresses that. All right. Here we go. This is Revelation chapter 19, verse 10. And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Now, just to pause right there for a second, this is letting you know who your brethren are. Your brethren, all right? Your kindred, all right? In the flesh as well as the spirit. Those who have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, all right? Because I know sometimes we throw around the word brother loosely, including myself. We'll use that word to address Jake. But, you know, in essence, a real brother is one that has the testimony of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. That's the bond. That's the bond of our brotherhood, is this very gospel. All right. So again, Revelation chapter 19, verse 10, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship Yahweh, which is the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the only begotten Son. All right. Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. All right. And the spirit of prophecy is a part of the gospel, a major part of the gospel, but it ain't the gospel in this totality. All right. Because you got prophecy and you got the history. All right. And you got, of course, the law. But yes, these are the times that we're in. We're in the time, all right, the entire world and the people that are in it, that are not NPCs, which is non-player characters, but the major movers and shakers on the world stage, guess what they're doing? They're going by the guidelines of prophecy, whether they know it or not, or whether they want to admit it or not. Prophecy runs this world. The testimony of our Lord runs this world. Whether you on the left hand or you on the right hand, all right, you fulfilling the will of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, all right? And that's what it is, all right? The world is running on prophecy. It always has. This ain't nothing new. It always has. All right, we just at the part where it's speaking the loudest. All right. So this is what we're dealing with. And in particular, all right, I wanted to go here to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. It says, And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. And no man shall buy you, all right, out of that captivity. No man would redeem you. There would be nobody on this earth, not Harriet Tubman, not anybody else you could think of and name, and not Denmark Vesey, not Nat Turner, although they had good intentions, but they wasn't in the testimony. All right. And that goes to show, all right, well, in the case of Nat Turner, you know, he just had a zeal, all right, but it wasn't according to knowledge. It wasn't according to prophecy, and it got him killed. Now, I'm just mentioning that to show you that this book is dangerous, all right, and you need those who are able, well, that the Lord has ordained to break this book down unto you, all right? And in turn, then you can be able to break it down unto others. But yes, we all have to, faith comes by hearing. Romans 10 and 16, down through 19. Faith cometh by hearing. So that means you got to get it from a man, because you're not going to, if the Lord was to preach the gospel, this whole earth would be undone. And there wouldn't be no flesh left to be saved. All right? And even if Yahweh came, you know, then that would destroy faith. The whole point of faith is it real? Are these words going to come to pass? Do you believe in these words? So if the Lord come down and talk to you, then where is faith? So you got to get it from a man so that you could have room for faith. All right, and even though the Lord did come, you know, 2,000 years ago in the flesh, you know, he was in the flesh. So men could still deny that he was the Lord. He's not coming back in the flesh this time. And that's why I want to read, and no man shall buy you. All right. Now, this is going into the lesson that I did yesterday, from iron feathers to cyber shackles. All right. Because this is where we're going now. All right. We came out of chattel slavery to what? The 13th and 14th Amendment, which made us contractual slaves. All right, and we moved into a new, all right, segment of history, if you will, a new form of slavery, which is under contract. All right, we voluntarily made ourselves slaves, all right, in the signing of these licenses and all of this, all right? If you don't understand anything else about a license, going back to what Apostle Gabar told us years ago, license, going back to the root LIC, it means trap, all right? Right, license is a trap. But here's the kick when you talk about a license, all right? Yes, you're asking for permission when you get a license, but why? Why do you need a permission? Because a license is to give you, just like James Bond had a what? He had a license to kill, which is, I just put this against the Esau legal framework. All right. In a way, because in the law there's provisions and reasons to put people to death. The law insists on it. All right. For one, that's Exodus 19, is it 17? No. But it's in Exodus, it says, suffer not a witch to live. What does that mean? You see somebody participating in witchcraft, you put them to death. All right? With 2 or more witnesses, you put them to death. Same thing with homosexuals, anybody participating in acts that the law calls for to be put to death, then you got to be put to death. All right. So James Bond had a license to kill at his own discretion. All right. Now, can I do that? No, I have to get a license. I have to go through certain programs and, you know, all of this and that. And as you see, even a police officer, they can get in trouble for killing. They come under heavy scrutiny. And my point is that as sovereign, which we are not, you don't need a license to keep the law. All right? So if as a man come on to me sexually, I had the right to handle that according to the law. I ain't got to sit there and play victim. I can put you under. That ain't by license. That's by law. You see, but we don't have that. All right, and this is why. And this is Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. It says, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. And the reason why our people will say that they're free, because the law has been taken from them. That's a major part of it. All right. Then they give you jobs and let you drive around in fucking automobiles and fly here and there for no fucking reason. But mainly you women just gadding abroad just to go some fucking where. You go to these places, you don't get in touch with the culture or the people or the heritage or nothing. You just go there to be a fucking nigga, just like these bitches go to Dubai and end up getting arrested. They should stay in that fucking jail. You going to bring black culture to these places that had customs in place for not only centuries but millennium, and you go over there embarrassing the children of Israel. All right? And this is in a sense what I want to talk about, because this is the behavior of a no people. Where you can't even goddamn govern your own self. But then you run around talk about you strong and independent, and you have no discipline, no morals, no anything that would even label you to be an adult, let alone a responsible adult. The majority of women, all included, and I say a majority, are grown children. And I ain't gonna say nothing else. That's a lot of you women are grown ass children. And again, Baruch chapter 3, verse 8, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse. Right, that's why you go to Dubai. And you embarrass the people out there. They embarrassed for your dumb ass, because you have no shame, no dignity about yourself. They actually doing you a favor when they lock your dumb ass up. You know? But yeah, for a reproach and a curse. Nobody, even me, I hate living around niggas. And do understand, all right? I'm saying niggas. I hate living around niggas. They always want something. It's always something, and it's never peaceful. around niggas. If they ain't talking loud, they playing loud music, or got some fucking drama going on, some arguing, cussing, and fighting, we are a reproach and a fucking curse as a people. It says, and to be subject to payments. Was King David subject to payments? Was anybody under him? Was anybody in the kingdom subject to a payment? Now, maybe if you had struck a personal deal and you borrowed some money from a man, but, that's between you and that man, and you pay it, whatever agreement y'all had. But this is talking about a systematic, all right, constant paying of fucking bills, payments, rent, every fucking month, fucking rent, taxes, notes. What you got, a car note? Your car paid off? Cool, you can save a little money, but you still gonna pay for that insurance. It never fucking stops. But then you got niggas running around in their captivity, delusional enough to talk about generational wealth. That's for sovereign people. As long as you pay taxes, that's a oxymoron. To talk about generational wealth and you paying taxes to other people. At best, you could just have a little money in the bank and a little money in your pockets. At best. Y'all looking at Jay-Z, Diddy. Look at where Diddy at. Y'all talked about Kanye, and overnight he allegedly went from a billionaire to another, going back to where he started, as a fucking broke nigga. Overnight. Now, of course, he still got some money, and he went on to do other deals and make other money, but I'm using that as an example to show there are no certain riches. All right, I'm gonna go to that. I think that's Habakkuk. Let me finish this. So it says, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. All right, so it's giving you the source of where the misery come from or came from, and it come from our disobedience. When they talk about the fathers, don't distance yourself from that, all right? So a lot of the times, in a lot of instances, those fathers are you, because we all reincarnate, all right? So, right, we are subject to payments. We are a reproach and a curse, all right? And, well, of course, we are yet this day in our captivity, so going back to the lesson I did yesterday from Iron Feathers, all right, we was in chattel slavery, all right, in yokes of iron, yokes and feathers of iron. I think we was better off back then, all right, because we all knew we were suffering together. We knew we was a people, and if nothing else, suffering was our bond, all right. We was bonded by suffering, and we had a common enemy. Once they freed us, niggas scattered to different ways, so did their mindset and their thought process and their beliefs. So some niggas think they free today. Well, unless you come into this truth and you really grasp the fundamentals of this truth, you gonna think you free. That's just how well set the deception is. All right, that's one of the things that this truth, which if you really just, I mean, you really should see it, even without the truth. But, you know, to each his own. But I mean, when I say see it, you should feel it. Because even when I was in the world, I knew it wasn't right. Something ain't right. You know? I can't live off what they paying me. Every time I go to work, I'm getting pulled fucking over. You know how I'm supposed to make it out here? And that's the thing. So, yeah, I wanted to address in this lesson, you know, the guy here, he gave some timelines, and I just want to put this out there. At Great Millstone, we don't do times or dates. All right. So, you know, in him giving timelines, that's according to some info that he receives, but that's not what I posted the lesson for you to get caught up in when something's going to happen.
There will be 3 types of emergencies in the next 5 years.
All right.
Most likely first, cyber attack on financial or energy.
What I want you to focus on is the events. Don't worry about when it's going to happen. We don't know. We are all on the Most High's timeline. All right? And we don't know how. It's like I said before. All right? There's so many possibilities right now that any one of them can go down. All right? We know what's going to happen as prophets, but we don't know exactly how it's going to play out. And that's where the possibilities come in. All right? So it just, you know, with me saying, oh, they going to bring digital currency. You know? Well, how are they going to bring it? I don't know. Just know that it's coming. Watch. That's why the scriptures say watch as well as pray. The prophets wasn't set to give you every little detail. Then there would be no, you couldn't have faith. Faith is believing in the unknown, or what has yet to be seen. All right? And so, right, we've been going from slavery to slavery. And the Lord now wants us to go from glory to glory. All right, because we came out of chattel slavery, as I mentioned before, went right into contractual slavery under the 13th and 14th Amendment. Now we're going into what? Cyber slavery. And that's what I put, you know, in the title, From Iron Feathers to Cyber Shackles. What are those shackles? Your digital ID, all right, which enables you to participate in the CBDCs, the digital currencies that are coming because, right, even as he said, I was saying this before he put I seen the video, that the whole banking infrastructure has to change, as well as politics. All right? What are they going to do with the House and the Senate? Because they're looking for AI to govern everything. So here we are, digital ID, so that you can claim your digital currency and your CBDCs, because you will need a digital wallet. That's why you need the digital ID. So you can access your digital wallet, which will contain your CBDCs that they want you to have. All right? If you're talking too much truth on the internet, that's going to cut into your UBI, Universal Basic Income. Oh, yeah, you in jogging. You working out, exercise. Who told your ass to exercise? That's going to cost you. You running up your carbon footprint. Eating too much meat somehow. That's running up your carbon footprint. That's going to cost you. Everything is going to cost you. This is cyber shackles. All right? And then you get into your ESG, your social governments. What's that? Environmental and social governance. Which is how they tag you and flag you. You know, just like what you call it? Flagrant play on the field. They throw that flag. Well, you do something flagrant in life, and you're gonna get flagged. It's gonna hit your ESG, your social credit score. All right, and then that's going to determine what your UBI will be for the month. Because remember, as I just read, we are subject to payments. All right? So they're going to hit you upside the head. They're going to put you in a even more tighter knit slavery. All right? Well, at least we had room to maneuver so much that niggas thought they was free under 13th and 14th Amendment. All right? This here, right, they limiting you to 15-minute cities. You're going to be severely limited in what you can and cannot do. And I want to hear you niggas talk about how free you are when they implement these tighter social control mechanisms. All right? Which is coming. And so I'm going to cut it right there. I done ran past my time again. Well, I'm going to pick up on this tomorrow, Lord will. All right, as I got some more to go into. All right. I didn't even get all of the meat I wanted, but Lord will, we'll finish up tomorrow. So with that, I pray that you all were edified. Much love and shalom.